Good morning. Morning, folks. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Let me just go down a little bit. You can see me a bit better there. Still need to do my camera. Amira, James, Martin, Leon, Dale, Silver. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Let me know I'm coming through okay. Before I get started, what did everybody do? Anybody do anything exciting this weekend? I obviously had a stag, but it was a very chilled stag, and that's about it. I rearranged the living room yesterday, had my drill out, changed the TV. That's the extent of my weekend. Sounds okay? Thank you, I appreciate that. Oh yeah, Martin, before I get into it, so Martin had a question on the free 50. I'll call it the free 50, the $50 prize. I'll just do it on stream. We played golf, Leon. So we played golf. It was a bit too hot. So by the time the kind of after bit came, where we went round to a mate's house just for little games and stuff, obviously for the stag, everybody was knackered. The sun took it out of us. But anyway, it was good fun nonetheless. Yeah. So the free 50. What if you've won it? So Martin's obviously won it this month. Right, what you essentially, in the easiest way to explain it is you have a $50 trade. Now, the idea came about from Nick, actually. Nick and Ash, I think, were talking about it. Well, Nick does like a fun $100 trade, kind of similar to what I used to do with scalping, not anymore, where I used to do it for like your kind of beer money on the weekend. Right, so it's like a fun $50 trade. Whatever kind of trade you want, you can use your current strategy, or you can be like a little bit more aggressive. So people kind of have that fun, a little bit more, looking for a bit more money. And you essentially, again, you don't have to analyze it. Just tell me, Ryan, this is the trade I want to take. If you can, send me this, because if I'm not in the charts, whereas if you're living in the US, I may not be at the charts. I could be, having dinner or something. I do have the account on my phone, but if you can send me your position size, so you'll have to put in this here, $50. Let's say you want to take a EURUSD short, right? Just put 1,000 in here. It doesn't really matter. Your stop loss, whatever it is, right? So that I know this is $50 basically. And just whatever trade you want. Just whatever trade you want to take. You will keep 50% of the profits. So if you get a 10R, which is $500, you keep 250. I put 250 back into this account, so our next winner will be $55 stake or whatever it is. And the aim is we try and maybe have a probably simplicity trading account and grow that account and, have a little bit of fun. So that's essentially it. Does that make sense? Martin, does that make sense? So you could go and say, right, from a fundamental play, I like this daily, go down to, if you really want to, the 15-minute or 5-minute and say, I want to buy the SPX up here, stop loss here. I will execute the trade for you. And if you win, you make some money. If you don't, you don't. And that's it. Make sense? Yes, good. Okay. So just put it up in here, actually. Put it in the members trade ideas, right? So if you just put the title here, the free 50 trade, and tag me, Martin, and then you can, write down your trade here. Everybody can see it, and that's how we'll do it. Very easy, just a bit of fun. There's no, like I said, this is just a account that I completely written off. So it's just a little bit of fun. Just a little bit of fun. No pressure to win the trade. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. Okay, let's get into the markets. The markets, as I sent that little clip on the chat this morning, it's not looking good, right? Everything is negative, I have to say. Inflationary pressures, Ukraine, slowing economic growth. Just reading through the stuff, the news events you see in the morning. Nothing is really positive right now. Maybe the only thing is China coming out of potential COVID next month. There is the World Economic Forum this week as well, after the COVID stuff. So let's see. Fundamentally, it looking great, but we're getting a bit of a push. And for me, I'll just move you up here so I can see if you're chatting. For me, it's just, I've got no confidence in this market. You know, I really don't. You know, we're seeing the market push up probably on account of this slight rejection here on the daily, right? But nothing there that that is telling me that possibly this is over now. Yeah, okay, from a dip buying perspective, from an investment standpoint, buying stuff down here makes sense, right? I think you've got a whole bunch of good stocks on massive discounts, SPX on discount, right? That makes sense. But, you know, we've got our V reversals here. This is a potential setup. Probably not if it breaks through. Not enough digestion here. But do I trust it? You know, would I go on and you know buy the Kiwi, buy the Aussie, you know, CAD slightly different against the yen? Would I start selling the yen right now? I don't think I would. You know, I just don't have any confidence in that. In saying, well, that's sustained. Maybe it's priced in. You know, and I talk about this a few times. Sometimes you just have to be like, I don't really know what's going on. Well, nobody really knows what's going on, but you know, not really resonating with what's happening. You know, we're seeing pushes and seeing weakness in the yen, which is kind of sustained more than it should be. You know, I think the yen should be a lot stronger than it is, but it's not. So it's a market where the main kind of rule is yeah, no worries, Martin, no worries, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow. The main kind of rule is protect your capital. You know, this is the main thing that we can do. I've actually just got a little bit more, well, not a little bit, but some more equity from a kind of investment standpoint. And, you know, capital protection is just so important right now. You know, I'm down to 1%. Obviously, GAEA still running. You know, if I lose GA down to -1, that's not great. I'm not happy with it, but I've not lost my capital. I'm basically roughly around where I started. And yeah, it's hard to get a grip on what's happening in that uncertainty. Markets don't like uncertainty. Sometimes make it difficult. So as I said, for pushes in this market where you're getting you know, that strength in those commodities, in maybe it's the kind of, let's say, what's the word? Possibly people like to be positive, right? You have to remember markets are made up of people. Maybe people like to be positive, and hoping that this does push on, and maybe that's why you see, you know, that weakness in the yen, that the strength in the Aussie Kiwi CAD when we do get pullbacks like this, and then it just comes down quite rapidly, which yeah, it's difficult. You know, it's difficult. So as I said, sometimes when you don't resonate, we just say, you know, protect your capital at all costs. At all costs. Okay, markets today. So we did have a slight rejection. I wouldn't call this a hammer bar. It's not coming on massive volume either. So would we have, in terms of fluidity, you'd probably expect this to push down a little bit further from a technical point of view. We haven't done that. We are getting some bullish pressure. London is not opened yet. I think on Monday, certainly waiting for London open is a better play. But possibly back to the same kind of thing, pullback continuation. If anything, massive fundamental changes, then yeah, okay, it would be slightly different. But, you know, it's in pullback mode. It's in pullback mode now. We do have a little bit of these V reversals on the hourly and 30. Not any V reversals that I can take because I would need a little bit more digestion before it breaks. Do have that dynamic resistance to price in form of those 200s. But I think the early part of this week, yeah, market could push a wee bit. But I wouldn't be surprised because this is not a massive bullish sign, right? I wouldn't be surprised if this could be reactionary, you know, kind of similar to what we got here. And it just kind of falls to the downside. So let's see. Let the market tell you. I think pullback. I don't know if I could see this sustaining. You know, I don't know if I could see this sustaining on this kind of smaller time frames. Here, you know, maybe a reaction there and then continuation down. I'll be keeping an eye over London and over today. I know it's a Monday, but I'll be keeping an eye today and seeing what happens with this chart. So I'll say pullback until you see, again, that reason to go short. Okay, dollar. Dollar today is quite weak. Yeah, dollar getting roughly around the support zone. There was your reason to short that dollar. Very similar impulse, corrective impulse. That's what I talk about. Basically, your RTE was that particular candle here. Inverted hammer, roughly around that 20. Complex steady state corrective. Pull back into that 20, and now we're coming down to this support zone. So 200 is dynamic. We still are in pullback with this dollar. Bias for me is still long, but I think the dollar gets a reaction around this area. But I think personally, ultimately, I think we break through. So it is relatively healthy going into it as well. As I said, we do have this 200. We do have this area of support. We are expecting a reaction from it. But I think ultimately I'll be looking for a break underneath this area. I think the pullback in the dollar has a little bit more to go with how this daily looks. So I think we maybe take this as an initial impulse. Yeah, and I think possibly we get down to, I don't know, maybe that psychological 100 level, possibly, before continuation. So a bit more pullback in the dollar is my bias before going long. Okay, watch list today. Quite a bit on the watch list. Quite a few. So we'll just look through pound yen and pound Aussie first. I will look at pound Aussie, this horrible trade that we're still in here. 4 hour perspective. Depending on how this 4 hours, you probably from a trading point of view, like a little bit of a rejection here, possible hammer bar roughly around this area, continuing with this wedge. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. This could push or this could pull. Either way, it's going to do what it was going to do. I've kind of forgotten about it now. I looked at it on Saturday, and I saw that I was literally exactly where I entered as well. Anyway, if you can get a decent rejection, it would look good, potentially for a bit more upward movement, possibly towards the upper that wedge. But pound Aussie will do what pound Aussie does. I was looking at it short as well from our V reversal in here. Got that moving averages as dynamic resistance to price, looking for breakthrough, retest, continuation down. Whether I put it there because the context was there, you could possibly look, and again, looking from a shorter term perspective or a shorting perspective, you're looking at this and possible loss of momentum here. I still like it long. I do still like it long. I know the index are pushing. I know China's coming out of COVID lockdown soon. Aussie being a proxy as the Chinese market. I think the Aussie had some political changes as well, which doesn't seem to have had a massive effect. But yeah, potential breakout retest on pound Aussie to the downside. I don't know if I would take that. I don't know if I'd want to be another pound Aussie trade. My bias would still be long. So pound Aussie, I'll probably leave it. It has had a slight rejection there anyway. But let's see if it does indeed break through and potential retest. Pound yen. Pound yen has broken. The context is here on our cup with handle. Smaller in context, but certainly still valid. Looking for a retest of this area for continuation. Yen is weakening off on account of that SPX pullback. Higher time frame confluence is not great. Aaron, you said you were looking at a 4 hour aggressive, which I presume is here. Which I get the premise. So if you're looking there, you're looking for a reason to short it here, which if you do get a rejection around London Open, you get that inverted hammer. I think it would have to be very soon if it's on this bar, certainly in the next 1 or 2 bars, if you're looking to short it. But the yen is coming off a little bit. If I get something up here, I could looking at potentially longs on GJ if the market does decide to rally a little bit for a break to the upside. But from an intraday perspective, looking for it to retest the area that it's currently broken out with to kind of continue within this. Do I massively like it? Again, no. I don't massively like it. You're more worried about that continuation. So your GJ aggressive entry idea has some validity if you do get a reaction in the next couple of hours or certainly on this 4 hour bar. But again, another one that just not comfortable selling the yen. Just not comfortable selling the yen right now. But let's see. I don't really trade. Obviously, I don't trade what I see. No, I don't trade what I think. I trade what I see. USD SEC. USD SEC breaking through, counter trend idea. I do like these 3 bars here as confluence to that counter trend idea with dollar weakening off slightly. 1 hour chart. Here we go here. 1 hour chart in here. ABC push through, breakthrough, retest, continuation down. On that pullback, yeah, I like that. I like that from a 4 hour perspective. It looks decent. Selling the dollar right now, yeah, it would make sense. 4 hour is okay, as you can see there. 4 hours okay, roughly around that 20, but it is a counter trend idea. It is a counter trend idea. You know, in terms of breakout retest, I couldn't obviously take this as a breakout, couldn't take it anyway. But if we do get a decent push, we can look at that pullback where it's relatively healthy around that 40-60 continuation to the downside on USD SEC. Aussie yen breaking through now. Aussie yen. Again, another one that the context is there, but do I like it? Do I like it from a daily perspective? You know, probably not. I'd be worried about this. You know, I'd be worried about that continuation because it is still risk off. But then the markets could push. The markets could push. So, you know, we've got our V reversal, pull back in here, looking for a retest of this area to go long on Aussie yen. Another one, you should kind of go with your gut as well, but another one that I'm just not, no, I just have my doubts. CAD yen as well. CAD yen is an idea I like because I'm talking about CAD yen short, right? Because we can look at this on the 4 hour as well, potentially getting in here. Possible aggressive entry, but ultimately looking for a breakdown here on B wave, 4 hour perspective. From a smaller time frame perspective, you can see our head and shoulders needs this to come down now. So we don't want this pushing through and you know, messing up the pattern essentially. If we do get it to come down, breakout, retest, continuation down in CAD yen. I like that idea, right? I still like the idea of being in the yen plays rather than being against it. But I wouldn't be surprised if this did push on. So CAD yen potential shorts. Litecoin, crypto. Litecoin is gone. I was looking for this to break through. It is invalidated now. I think crypto has possibly a little bit to go before we possibly continue in that downtrending environment. Again, using that simple 20 from the daily, we are still in this corrective mode. You know, looking at shorts somewhere around there. So this move is digested. Very similar with most of these cryptos, Bitcoin, etc. So Litecoin is off the list. I'll take that off. SPX I've done. I've got to take that off because it's broken through. The Dow I was looking at long. No, not that one. Here I was looking at this long, but again, if this breaks, I'm going to have to take it off my list because I need a little bit more digestion in this phase here from that push on to take that as a valid context. But we were looking at that originally to break out retest. If it does break, I cannot get involved. And your final breakout retest is USD NOK. I'll look at your USD ZAR as well, Silver. USD NOK, a counter trend idea. We've got confluence with this bearish 180 here, but it is counter trend. But that is my reason to get in. The chart doesn't look very nice, and you're possibly getting into this. Your head and shoulders at the top of structure. Again, a counter trend idea. Context here, we've faked to the downside. That's okay. I don't mind that. Context is still valid. Looking for a proper breakthrough. Whether you come back up here, that's okay. But a breakout, retest, continuation to the downside on USD NOK. Okay, I'll go to my favorite one. This is, you know, in terms of the ones I really like on the watch list, it's CAD yen. I like the idea of CAD yen shorts. But I like the idea of a Eurocad aggressive entry to the downside. So we've got our initial basing structure here. Okay, up here, basing structure. We're in our corrective phase, right? Very same with the euro. This is relatively healthy right now, right? But from a daily perspective, is getting a little bit of that kind of normal climactic we've seen in this Eurocad moving forward, right? So pushes, sold into, pushes, sold into, pushes, sold into, pushes, sold into. I'm looking at pushes to be sold into. Right, if we do get that, it could create a possible head and shoulders here, continuation of this movement to the downside, going with that trend, right? So you can see me talk about this. I'm obviously a little bit more resonating with this idea than the others. What I'm looking for and what I would like to see, considering what we know about the euro, is a break above this area and then a reason or possible rejection around that 200 for a breakdown short. I really like that idea. You know, we've seen it again, we've seen it time and time again. Looking for a reason. You didn't really get one there. I know that was a setup, but if we can get this to push, right, and get our ideally we get this, right, our inverted hammer, volume coming in, break a structure on a little bit of a break from the downside, right, within that 40-60 box from that movement overall trend, right. Stop in there. I think as a risk reward play, as aggressive entry, that would be ideal for me, and I like that idea. I'm just looking for that reason to enter. So I'm looking for a break. I'm looking for a big significant rejection off that 200. Whether it comes today or tomorrow, we'll have to wait and see. But a rejection off that 200, continuation of that trend on Eurocad. Like that. I do like that. Another one I like is this German 30. Wasn't quite an aggressive entry. You could look down here and say, well, was this an aggressive entry? I had the right volume. I just didn't like the impulsive nature that the pullback occurred within this impulse, right? So I didn't like this particular bar, which made it a little bit of, should I take it, should I not? And if I'm asking that to myself, I'm usually not. So normally with that, you'd expect to see this to come down. And I think most of the time you'd expect that before potential continuation. We've just happened to have a gap up over the weekend. So I would be looking at this for my aggressive, saying this could be potentially B wave before movement to the upside. So I wouldn't have taken that. But as a pattern, this is progressing up pretty well. So we've got our initial basing structure, our cut pattern, our handle, our second structure, our V reversal. Again, looking for this impulse here, another little leg in, 20 period catch up, neating up a little bit of mess, accumulation. I was saying neating up and a little bit of mess, but you know what I mean. So essentially from this, I need a little reload, potentially a little bit of accumulation, break to the upside. A good little hedge play. I do like the context. I do like the pattern. I like where we could potentially be here. Head and shoulders on the daily, breaking out of this. I know it's against what I'm saying, but from a technical perspective, like Eurocad, I like the chart. I do like this chart. So let's see, Eurocad. And finally, I've got SPX. Is that right? SPX short, 4 hour. No, SPX short shouldn't be there. I'll take that off. So SPX is not there. So yeah, my two favorites for today are definitely, or not today, but for this watch list today are Eurocad and the German 30. Eurocad shorts, German 30 longs. This is probably going to be this is going to set up, if it does set up, quicker than the German 30. So yeah, I like this idea. I think the risk reward play is nice, considering if you can get that as a risk reward. Looking to play down to here makes absolute sense to me. Eurocad shorts. Okay, we had a few questions, so I'll look at that. I think Aaron had a question about MT4. Can I change the order of my watch list in the profile section? No, I believe it just goes alphabetically, Aaron. I don't think you can change it. Not that I know of anyway, mate. I think it just automatically goes in alphabetical order. Is there a position tool like TradingView? I don't believe so, no. Well, actually, it probably is somewhere on the market. I don't know. I haven't used it. But if you probably YouTube trade a position tool calculator or position tool TradingView, I'm sure there's something that you can put in there that's very similar to TradingView. I'm sure there is. I just don't particularly use it. If I use a different broker, does everything that sets up resets? So this is the thing with MT4 is normally if you've got, let's say you've got an IC Markets and a Blueberry Markets account, you normally have to download their MT4 from their platform. I don't know why. The last time I did it, last time I changed, there was something very strange about it where I tried to add the new profile, the new account into this, for example, into here, when you add a new open an account or log in the trade account, and there was something wrong about it. Like it wasn't quite correct, because I think this is the Blueberry. So if I look up here, so you can see Blueberry Markets MT4. So if IC Markets have the same one, which they do, I think normally you'd have to download that separately, or else it becomes a little bit messy, and things go wrong. So unfortunately, yes. If you've got Blueberry Markets and for example, that account I had, the small account here, right? That was a Blueberry Markets account, just ironically. So I can add it into this one because it's a Blueberry Markets, okay? But I think if you have two, you have to unfortunately re-download it, which isn't very nice, but has to be done. All right, guys. Any questions for today? Remember, it is still a Monday. Mondays are sometimes quiet. We'll keep an eye on the ones pertinent for today, possibly GJ as well. But just be aware that there's still massive uncertainty. Massive uncertainty. I mean, what do you guys think? How do you guys feel about the markets right now? Are you very similar to me, where it's like, do you trust this? Do you trust that? Are you kind of, what do you guys think of the markets? Are you enjoying it? Some people would like this market. They say, yeah, well, volatility is great. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Are you finding success in your trading? Are you finding setups difficult? What's your overall thoughts? Because this is what it is. It's not just my thoughts, it's everybody's thoughts. Don't like it? Yeah. That confidence in it. You always feel that, you're supposed to be very, confident in it, but just not. For me, it wait mode, yeah. No direction, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I mean, Pound Aussie is probably a great example of that. I know it's slightly different, but when I look at the setups that I have, context-wise today, right? For example, Aussie Yen long. Don't like that. Pound Aussie short. I mean, I still don't like that. Pound Yen long. I still don't like it. I still don't. I don't like the idea of selling the yen. And yes, you could say, well, are we getting priced in? Is everything now starting to be priced in? And we know the inflationary reverse, right? We know all this stuff. We know what's happening in the world. I don't think so. There was an argument last week, as I said, for me buying a little bit more here. That made sense for me from a weekly perspective, and I think this is where we should look in terms of investment standpoint. Is are we priced in yet? Yes, okay, we've had a decent move. Yes, okay, we could be C-wave, but is it telling me it wants to rise just yet? No. So really, from a statistical point of view, would I be looking at buying this Aussie on a Monday against the yen? No way. No way. Even though the context is okay, it just I'm not confident in it. I'm not confident in it. And when that happens, I just say, right, I'm not going to take it. I'm fine. I'm fine with FOMO. I don't see if Aussie yen moved to the upside and let's say I wasn't massively comfortable. Fine, I don't care. My main priority is obviously that capital protection, and there's many more months, and ultimately this is, the past, I'm going on a tangent here, but the past few years have been difficult to trade, I think. We talk about really from Trump. Trump Trump came into office just as I was getting profitable. I think when did he come in? When was Trump in? 2017? Must have been 2017, right? 2016, 2017, Trump? Anyway, I think it was 2017. Must have been 2017. So we've had Trump with his Twitter feed, right, up and down volatility. Geez, that was a nightmare as well. We've had COVID. We've had Russia, Ukraine. We've had now this big inflationary years. I mean, I think it's in terms of starting to learn how to trade. I understand there's always things going on, but if you're kind of starting your journey now, it is a difficult time. I do think it is a difficult time. So you can get through this. I don't think your trading will be, and unfortunately, unfortunately, I was, in terms of the before pre-2017, I wasn't consistently profitable. So I couldn't tell you like how good the market was, how not good the market was in terms of trading. So Maybe I'm wrong in that setting, but you know, I think it is certainly a difficult time, and it'll be interesting to see when things calm down how kind of trading goes back to. But we'll see. Oh, monkeypox. Yeah, I mean, I heard that on the radio the other day as well. I heard that on the radio the other day. Let's hope that's another bloody thing. Hopefully not. Touch wood, right? Touch wood. Touch wood. Right, guys. I'll leave you there. Remember, it is a Monday, obviously. Better to wait, as Leon said. USDZAR, sorry. Sorry, Silver. USDZAR. Sorry, mate. USDZAR, yeah, I like the short bias. That could have been, there was enough volume there. I looked at that, there was enough volume as a catalyst. That doesn't mean that I don't like the bias at all. Nice price action on the 4 hour. You're looking at the 1 hour, right? I put it in here. Slight fake. Slight fake. Still like it though. Still like it. You know, could this just be possible retail in here? Continuation, something like that? I think so, yeah. Let me see your setup. Sorry. Here. Okay, so you got it slightly different. Well, I presume you've not taken it, right? I presume you've not really got your reason to go short yet. Yeah, I mean, for me, this bar just made it slightly messy. But bias-wise, yeah. Bias-wise, I like it short. You know, and sometimes with this, there is sometimes an argument where you can take that away. You know, the volatility, you can kind of take this away. There is an argument. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I'm saying there is an argument to do that. So, 20-period catch-up, reason to short it. I see your context. You could look at this as a steady state retest. And that's not like trying to make a case for your short, right? Because if it does push on, then you just don't take the trade. But yeah, I like the premise. I like the premise, absolutely. I like the premise. Not yet, yeah. Yeah, waiting for your I mean, yeah, reason to enter would make sense. Reason to enter, then that would make sense. Yeah. I like the 4 hour. I do like the 4 hour. You know, this didn't have volume, unfortunately. Just didn't have volume. But price action does look nice. So yeah. Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all, Silver. Don't mind that at all. No worries, mate. No worries. Right, go and enjoy your Monday. I'll be back tomorrow. Let's touch wood. Come on, markets. Let's have a bit more excitement. That would be nice. That would be nice. Have a great day all and trade safe. Peace.